Pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. It says approval of the May minutes, but on the official posting, I did cross that out, initial and date it, so we are approving the June minutes. These are not the correct minutes.
It says June 3rd at the top.
Did you get these?
Laying here? Maybe it
Yeah,
was home
right.
then.
Give me
Sorry.
a second.
I just
Chris,
grabbed
you-
it and copied. I didn't
Chris,
read
you
it.
have the right. Anyway, let's approve the June minutes. Here's my initial and date.
I make a motion to approve the
Is there a second? All in favor? Nays? Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Alright. Something's wrong. Water billing. Stop. Whatever that is. So, I decided to jump into one of these water bills. Just one. To see what was involved in the process. Took me about 4 hours. Just for one.
What are you doing?
I'll tell you. Now, in the interest of time, let me finish my statements before we jump into any of this. I took on (357-01). That shows the balance. It'd be on page 5 of the first section of the water billing. All right, it says $98.22. And it shows that there's a payment of $38.21, $35.25, and $24.76 due, right?
Yeah.
So, reading this, it would show that she hasn't paid a bill for 3 months. Right?
Partial bills.
Incorrect. She's paid every one of these bills.
Okay. So why does that get here?
In the interest of time, let me finish my statement. I'm going to explain it all. So, first, I had to look at this bill. Then I had to figure out which ones looked overdue. Then I had to go to the bank and look at a record that they keep in a notebook of all the deposits. And we had to go down the list through each month of 192 water bills and trying to find these 3 water bills handwritten in a notebook. Showed she all paid. Then I had to call her back, say, I show you paid. Was there any month prior, this only goes back to March, that you didn't pay? She said no. She lives in Georgia, and our water bills, is it Georgia, whatever, doesn't matter. Water bills go out on the 26th, people have until the 10th to pay, right? That's not physically possible for someone in Georgia to get a water bill and get it mailed back to us in time by the 10th. So then I had to call Bob, and I had to pull a year's worth of records, and found out that these outstanding bills are due to compounding 10% late fees, because she doesn't pay her bill on time because she can't. So what looks like, when you guys read through these and look and call out all these numbers,
But I'm gonna tell you, that ain't even one we call out at $98. It's the
Just-
ones that reach
do you want,
plus
I-
200.
we're gonna explain this. I've got more to say. So, when you guys go through here and call these out, and I understand the real high ones and what you're saying that they stick out. Some of those are complicated and way overdue. But in order to do all this, for each single one of these that show like over the minimum, you gotta go to the bank, look through the notebook. Then you gotta call Bob and have a report called. Then you have to go back and compare it with the bank again. And then you have to look at this and decide whether they're actually late or not. But you don't really know. So what I'm saying is this is not an up-to-date document. So even today at 3:40, I went to the bank. And I said, have you pulled in any water receipts that aren't posted yet? She had 26 of them. So I guess what I'm saying is sitting here and going through these reports is a waste of time. If you'll notice, when we didn't do that, we still have late bills, but that's something Claire and I talk about when we get the aging report on the 20th. So we can sit here and spend 20 minutes going through these water bills. It doesn't matter. Like, it's pointless. We don't need the board to tell us that this is late or not, because we really don't listen to it. Because we do all this,
That's the problem.
we do this anyway.
But that's the problem.
But,
The late
but
ones.
but to sit here and listen to the board,
But why
go
aren't
through
there
all
bills 3
these,
months
it's-
late then? Why aren't there $200 and $300 bills on here? Those are the ones that stand out.
I understand that. However,
I wouldn't even look at a $98 one.
well, you would, that's 3 months late and says that they haven't paid anything for
Yes,
3
and I knew it
months.
was partial. I knew that one wasn't true because it was just partial amounts every month.
Right.
But, so you're telling me that interest for them months was 30 some dollars
Compounding.
and $20 and...
Compounding 10% late fees. You don't pay your bill for 1 month on your $50 bill, it's 10%. You let your bill get up to 100, 10% of 100 plus the first 10%. It compounds, right?
Okay.
So
You compound that monthly?
I believe that's it. Am I making a correct statement?
I have not looked at the calculation. I know it's a 10% penalty, but I don't know how the,
Because there's no way, I mean, she's paid all these bills, but she still owes $98. How long would 10% on a water bill take to get to $98?
Well, she's paying the regular bill, she's not paying the late fee.
Right, she continues to pay the
And
regular
she-
bill.
and it
She
just
doesn't-
adds
She
up.
doesn't even know she's late.
Yeah,
If the
Yeah,
fact of the matter is.
she knows.
But somebody had to have just told her. You know, I mean. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
every month on her water bill,
It probably
this
shows that-
balance shows.
Yes.
well then
It's
she,
not like it's a surprise you owe $100.
well then she should be figuring out why it's that amount.
That's what we had to work on. And that's what took me 4 hours to try to figure out how these things work. And then so I did. Now, let's say we've got I don't know, pick one.
Take any one.
34201.
Paid in full.
Then why is it showing that it's past due?
That's what I'm trying to tell
3
you.
months.
This is not an accurate, up-to-date.
Then we need an accurate, up-to-date piece of paper.
You're not gonna get one.
Why?
26 people just paid their water bill today.
Well,
And,
because
you know,
if they
they
pay it at
haven't
the
been
bank, Bob
deposited
has
yet.
to pick it up and then.
They
I
haven't
guess
even
put
been
their
deposited
into
yet.
it,
I
so-
get, I get that, but why is it showing late? Never mind. You know what? You
No.
guys know how I feel about this. Never mind.
I agree, we need to,
There are,
Update.
there are amounts that have not been paid and have
For
not been
months.
shut off for months.
Months.
how,
Big
see,
amounts.
how do you know that? Last
Because
month,
he said
Yes, he
last
does.
month that he didn't shut
You got
someone
to,
off.
yes.
and I told you in the meeting, we shut 6 or 7 people off last month. But there's no
that was
report
last
of
month,
that.
Okay.
We
how about the
handle
months
that
before
outside the
We
meeting.
need a report of who was shut off.
But why? Like, what?
But, you know, months
Because
prior to
this
that,
is
nobody
a
did.
business. And we need to treat it as a business.
You guys only show up here 12 times a year. Claire and I work together 355 days.
You know
a year.
what?
What's the point?
I've already said I will help out on the water. And you
We
guys
don't
look at
need
me
it.
like I'm stupid. No, we do need some help. Because we've got a big task coming up. And we need to keep every dime that we can get for that water tower project. You know that as well as I do.
So that water project isn't gonna come out of that water fund even.
We need to save as much money as we can.
We have
You-
excess money and the water system
But
is
that money's
very,
gonna dwindle, Cliff.
the water system is very profitable.
But
It
it may
shows
not
in
be
these
as soon as
reports.
they reverse it. Okay? That may shock you.
I'm just saying, we need to
I
run
understand.
this as a better business. That's all I'm saying. And if you
And
guys
I'm
don't
just-
care, I don't know why the hell I care.
I didn't say I don't care. I'm trying to explain to you guys that when you guys go through these reports, that they're not a living document and they're not up to date. Like, it has to go through the whole deposit process.
We understand that the things don't, today's the first and the bills aren't due till the 10th. We understand that. We know the ones that show a bill, we understand that, you know?
Right.
But it's the ones that show 3 and 4
Okay,
months.
21503.
I mean, we can just keep doing this.
No, I wanna know the answer to this one. Is it shut off 21503? That's been the same amount for months.
What is it?
21503.
Sheila, that's yours.
That's not funny.
Yeah,
it is.
name. No name.
It said unknown last month, so, on the minutes.
I'll let you slide on that one.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. That's one we'd pick out. We'd say, hey, what's going on with this?
I didn't go back to the.
And for months, we didn't shut
Like,
anything
I didn't write
down.
anything down.
So, if we don't question it,
There was a lot of things being fired at that time.
is that one off?
No,
No, there you go.
that's what I'm talking about. You know it needs to be shut off.
Wonderful.
Sheila, you address me, I address Claire.
You
Claire,
know it needs to be shut off.
we just,
You
Talked about
just decided it.
we did not just decide.
It's been like that for months, Cliff.
I understand, it needs shut off. Claire shuts him off
The
tomorrow.
same account, 21503. I must be looking on the wrong page.
349.66. No, there's no reason for that one to not be shut off.
Should have been shut off months ago.
Should have been. I don't know who that is or where he lives.
Which one? No, I thought we moved on to which one.
Is that particular owner, has he been given notice of a shut-off date?
Yeah, they get it every month. Every
Okay, it's
month.
all pre-printed on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then we file the right paperwork with the proper authorities.
I got the water ordinance sitting on my credenza in my office. I would like to take a look at that. When you mentioned compounding interest, that can be a potential issue. It needs to be in the ordinance. If the interest is compounding, we need to know if that's compounding. You know, Bob can weigh in if my numbers are incorrect, and if you're charging 10% compounding monthly, you're getting up into the 120% a year. And that is, I believe the statutory rule on that is that if it just simply says interest, that means simple interest, unless it says compounding interest. And it makes a big difference if a lot of these balances are the result of like unpaid late charges or unpaid water charges that are simply compounding interest on a monthly basis. That can really grow exponentially beyond probably what people are maybe able or willing to pay.
Well, that's what I'm saying, this one was $98, but her bills are up to date.
Well, it's really not interest, is it, Chris? It's a late fee.
It's a
It's
late
a late
fee,
fee,
not
yeah.
interest,
So it's,
compounded
So,
late.
I
fee.
But it's
suppose,
still something
How
that
do you-
needs paid.
I'm not sure how the system, I
Correct.
gotta research.
I'm
and
sorry?
see how
It's still something that needs paid.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a late fee.
yeah.
Still.
well, yeah, so.
Now, however, if we're sending out bills on the 26th, we're calling them due on the 10th, someone in Georgia can't pay that.
But Bob,
It's not
yeah,
possible.
if it is,
But
yeah,
you
if
know
it
it's
is
There's a
coming
lot
truly,
that's
every
not in
month.
Georgia.
Yeah,
that's
you know
not
it's
paid.
coming every month.
if
If
it is
I-
truly a late fee and it's 10%, that's relatively easy. That would be per month.
On the outstanding.
That's not a
balance.
compounding.
But it is on the outstanding balance. Is it,
Well, that would be a compounding.
well, yeah, because the late fee and the bill is
Yeah.
late. And if they don't pay it, it's late again.
That's what I mean by
So then they're
compounding.
getting a late fee
Yeah.
on the late fee?
Well, I think,
Kind of.
yeah,
You're getting
I-
you're
I-
getting
I-
a 10% on each, on the total of every time. So it just keeps increasing.
So I wonder if in the water ordinance, if there's something in there about paying the late fee as well as your water.
Chris and I can work on that. You have
Yeah.
the ordinance?
it's probably
You
more
got a copy?
confusion if you just start to divvy up what you have to pay to continue service and then you have a running balance of late fees, or, that's probably not a real feasible way of doing it. But, yeah, we'll look at it.
Do you need, you should have the copy.
Yeah, I got it,
Say, I got it right in there.
I got it.
How many people do we have that live out of town that pay a water bill here?
You, I think.
A handful. Stephen, so yeah, how do you handle yours? Do you pay it? You have a positive balance though, right?
Yes, but
Or do you have a
there's
credit?
been times I'm in arrears because the cards are lost. I stopped long ago paying it there because why multiply the problem by 2, getting up there and then the payment comes back.
And that's what this particular person has done. She's starting to have it mailed here. And then someone tells her what the bill is and she sends it in. We have one up on the highway that lives in New Hampshire. She's decided she just now got the bill from last month, so she's gonna start having it delivered to a family member in Hall. So you're right about this one. This one's way out of hand. What I'm just getting the point across is some of these, like, I highly doubt 23100 owes $123. I don't know for sure, but and some of these still need written off. We can handle that with Bob on the outside like we usually do.
It's probably ought to be in the minutes. Who wants to-
All
I
right.
mean, the board needs to approve. the charge
Okay,
balance.
let's get rid of these then. Well, I know of one right off the top of my head. 300-01. That house actually has a new owner, and he's not coming back. Bob, that's 300-01. I'll take that off the records. And collect deposits. What was the other one for the property I no longer have? 183-02, that's paid in full. However, the deposit needs returned to her.
No, the deposit should get applied to the account. Where it
Oh, yeah.
is. Yeah.
So 183-02, is paid minus the 75, and the deposit goes to that account. So 183-02 is not supposed to be on here.
Say that last one again.
183-02. The balance minus $75 has been paid. Or the balance, then return $75 to the account. The rest, the balance of that is paid.
So that's not a write-off one?
No,
Okay, gotcha.
that actually happened to be my house. So when she moved out, I had like a 2 or 3 month period before I sold it,
Gotcha.
and that water bill never got applied to my name.
Okay.
So I paid the balance minus her deposit, which will go
Yep.
back. So that one shouldn't be on there.
What
Uh,
about 27400?
She moved out,
Right?
and requested that her water be turned off. That is a balance due. We're not gonna write that off. I believe she moved in with her son.
Is it actually
So is it
off?
all?
Yes, it's turned off a long time ago. Months and months ago.
Well, it looks like she was billed a partial bill for,
Yeah, I mean, it would look that way. These aren't, they don't show that way. If
And
you,
here's another one, 316-13.
so that's the one, with the apartments that he is supposedly had taken over the water. So what we need to do with this one, that's a balance owed by the meter. We need to go through our ordinance and talk with Chris about that one, how we're gonna bill that one. Cause we have, it's an apartment complex with one meter.
Mhm.
And there's something in that ordinance about per unit
oh,
or,
we decided he was just responsible for the whole
Right.
thing. However, he wants
Well,
to
then
split
we
it up
got-
amongst his tenants. instead
then
of
we
all
got the
of them.
water ordinance.
Mhm.
And I went through it and there's something in there about per unit or whatever. It has to be a minimum per something.
So-
It's in there.
There used to be.
That's just something I need to
because
dig
when they were
into.
plumb full, I don't know, 10 years ago, I remember, everybody got something that lived there. Whether, I don't know if it was
We split the bills up
Mhm.
amongst however many meters.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's gonna be complicated. It's just something I haven't had time to do yet.
In the meantime,
In
should
the
we
meantime,
be
he owes
paying
this
it?
bill or he probably needs to shut off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
How do you determine usage if there's just one meter and divide it up between units, just
That was
times the number of units?
that was a very, very big deal a few years ago that got really complicated. So there's a main that goes into the concrete floor pad, and then they divvy up inside the walls to each apartment. In order to put a meter in, we would have to redo pretty much all that plumbing supply to that whole building. So we put in the ordinance something to address that issue. So the water main goes into the concrete pad, and then we would have to put a meter in each house, and then put another, the remote on the outside,
Right.
and we cited against that. So at the apartments though, they each have their own. This was a big deal that went on for months and months and months and many, many fights in the board meeting. Went on and on and on and on. Way longer than it should have. What we need to do for that one is that when I get time, dig through that thing and decide how we're gonna charge them. In the meantime, yes, they need to pay that, or they probably need to shut off the next billing cycle. Which would be the 20th of July, 21st of July. Since we're not in good, communication with him, I mean, we'll mail it, and then, and post it on the property.
And that, is that kind of on him and not the residents? I mean, as far as,
It's on him.
they can't really help it.
They
If they
can't.
knew they had a bill, they'd probably pay it. but.
They don't
Kinda
have
sucks
any
for
way to
them.
meter their water.
Right, I know, but
And we talked, it was gonna be like thousands of dollars because we'd have to rip apart the walls and re-drywall it and do the whole deal.
lots of money.
So, um, you got those two writing off, right? One more thing to address, remind me, 177-06 claimed that they had a water leak. I have pulled the usage, I see no water leak. So they have, it was requested that brought in the meeting, we're gonna tell them they pay in full.
Good.
This is a year's worth of
Good.
meter reports, I don't see anything. Had I seen something, we would, for the 3 months, but we don't see it. Can we move on from water bills? This, I hate to say it, and I know there was one that got called out that needs notice, but these just keep getting longer and longer and longer. If we,
But you know, it gets shorter every time we shut some more off, because we've been doing this for several months.
I
Shut off
just-
something, shut off something, you know, I mean,
I'm,
that's how it's gonna get shorter.
are we done with the water bills? We're gonna ask for a motion to write those 2 water bills off and, not, adjust for water leak on. I lost it.
So do we have a way that, let's just say we write somebody's off and a couple years later they come back into town.
Not if we write it off. That's why we leave them on here. I mean, but then the balance looks
So we don't
bad.
have any kind of record keeping our own to say, ha, that guy got us.
Once we write them
2
off,
years
they're written
ago.
off. That's what write off means, written off.
I
Well,
understand.
yeah, but like when
But
I
I'm
was
saying
in
for
high
future,
school,
because we may wanna say, no, you owe this much for a
So you
deposit.
have to,
Not if it's written off. Write off means it's written
I
off the
understand.
records.
It's
But
off the
not
record, but it don't have
The
to be off every
utilities
record.
didn't work that way when I didn't pay mine as a, they remembered. When I came back from Colorado, they found me.
And this is the reason why we want to keep our water bills. They don't get up to $300 like this one is. I mean, cause, you
but
know,
if we do our job and disconnect when it needs to be
We will
disconnected.
never get to
It
300.
that's what I
Get to that.
just said. So are we done with these?
Yep, moving right along.
It's been 40 minutes. Is there a motion to approve that, or, the water billing
The write-off, and all that.
for the write-offs, unless
I'll
we're
make
not
a
writing them
motion.
off? No.
I'll make a motion, we write them off.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Nays?
I abstain.
Rod?
Go ahead, right on. You done.
Approval of the bills. Mr. Gray.
We have several to add to the list, since the timing of the board meeting. Farm and Home, we need to add another $38.97.
I don't have.
Not sure what that
Oh,
is.
yeah.
38, 37?
$38.97
90.
on the 12th of June. Then we have Zach Orr, $180 for police.
That's late because I didn't get it till 12:04 today. And then by the time I saw it and got it sent to Bob, it was 2 in the afternoon.
Mary told me it was too late.
I'm sure she did.
CIPS bill just came. It says we owe them $2,100, but they don't have last month's posted, payment posted on here, so I'm not sure what, I'm just gonna add them up, but, and their bills are weird. It says current due and total bill, and the columns are the same, so I'm not sure what they do. But anyway, there's no payment posted. So
Yeah.
the normal Ameren bill needs to be paid. Boehner, $1345.87 in the water fund.
Did you say 1845?
$1345.87. Frontier telephone, 20645.
I'm gonna contact them, that's really high.
You know, we looked into that
Yeah,
3 or
that's-
4 years ago.
I remember Rod saying something about that. But we also have lines at the water plant for monitoring, like
But
some
don't
of
we
our
all have
live
cell
meters.
phones now? I
Hmm.
mean, do we have cell phones?
We
Does
were
Claire have a
going
cell
to,
phone?
but we can't have the live metering at the water, it's required. Cause when we got fiber, we're like, well, why pay for fiber? Cause we have the telephone here through the fiber at 5525, but then we still have to pay Frontier because of, it's not compatible with fiber. So
Gotcha.
that's, hopefully that's something we can remedy, and then we can shut Frontier off. But for right now, we're stuck with that. But that is a habit. Sorry, Bob, go ahead.
We bought a tire from Eppley's, $198. Hawkins, we bought some A-Zone 15 for $159.01.
I believe that's our water testing supply, I think.
I have a Nicor bill for $174.37. I take that back. They don't have the balance, or the last month's balance posted yet. $61.79 would be that bill.
There were 2 bills in that pile.
Actually, there's 3.
Of,
Another one for $43.60. That goes into the water fund.
From Nycor?
Yes,
into?
it's paid out of the water fund.
Okay.
There's 2 from the general fund and 1 from the
Got it.
water fund. And then lastly, we got another one for the general fund, $55.25. Lowe's. What did we get from Lowe's?
Me? Mulch,
Mulch,
a lot of mulch,
$251.26.
130 a day. That's
Look
what
at all
I
the
put,
pretty
that's what I
stuff,
put
right?
down so far, there's 10 more up printed.
That comes out of
That's the park fund.
our allocated park fund that we
It
had.
was 103 degrees.
I did one day.
And lastly, I have an attorney bill for $570.
Kidding.
Yeah, I
Man,
can.
tough crowd. Tough
Yeah,
crowd.
They're compound interest on that if we don't pay it.
Was that $5.70?
$2.50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Is it compounded interest?
You'll find that my terms is very easy. I'll just show up with my hand out.
Alright, is that all for the bills?
That's it.
Looking through, I don't see anything
What
else.
was the 31 Big River roll-off? Where'd we go with that one?
Cleanup day.
Yeah, that was
That's
from
just now
April.
coming, okay, gotcha.
What about the, fence?
We fixed the fence.
Well, I know we fixed the fence, Cliff, but didn't we get some insurance money on that?
Yeah, and then we paid it.
And
2
we
years
paid it?
ago.
That's what I thought, it's been forever ago.
Yeah, that's been,
Trying to find somebody to actually do
they
it.
wouldn't do it. And the
It
first
looks
quote
good.
was
Whoever
looks
ended up
good.
doing it is-
the first quote was $7,600, and that was the only quote I got, and I told them no.
Yeah, that didn't even cost that much the last time somebody did it.
No.
It was like
The whole thing.
almost $3,000, and it was worse than what it was.
So I got this Amish guy to do it for $2,000.
That's what I'm.
So it's done, finally.
Keep his name.
Oh, I mean, real nice guy. Go, anything else? If there's none, I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve the bills.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills.
Second.
All in favor? Nays? Motion carried to approve the bills. This is not. Financial report.
Any questions? Nope. See you later.
So there are a lot of deposits that you'll see a lot of checks, something like $10,000 worth of
The
checks.
amount of bills you have over there, I have a checks to stack to match.
Where'd they come from?
Oh, lots of
There's
places.
multiple speeding tickets,
Well, that's a water
motor
bill.
fuel,
US Cellular. water
Mendoza,
bill,
the state comptroller.
A lot. Yeah, most of these are from Mendoza.
I'd say there's 10 grand there probably. I don't really know.
It'd be income tax and
And
sales
then,
tax and replacement
There's
tax.
one Bryce Gleckler, Circuit Court.
That's circuit court for traffic.
Yeah. Most of them are from the same place.
Keep piling them in.
So we'll see those put in the bank tomorrow. So if you, it may look unfavorable in the accounts. I don't know. Go ahead. Sorry.
Page 2. Page 2, Sheila. Yeah, if we hadn't had that, well, it's under building demolition, that's the cleanup. I'll put that in a different account. So it shows a negative 3,500. And then next page is year-to-date comparison this year versus last year.
I fell behind. What they doing?
So year-to-date, we're negative 16. Page 4 is the activity through the check register. Page 6, water fund. See, the revenue's pretty low for the month. That's just the deposits since the last board meeting.
Well,
It's
that's
July
right.
1st. We get
Example,
heavy
today they
deposits
put 26 more in,
the
so
1st through the 10th.
that's not inaccurate.
And then, page 7 is year-to-date comparison. So last year we had 2 more days, which is probably catch us up to the negative 2,300 we got in revenue. Page 8 and 9 is, all the activity through the various checking accounts. Sewer's on page 11. There's not much in the sewer fund, and the Ameren bill we just got. So that, and then page 12 is year-to-date numbers. Motor fuel. If we have money in that pile to deposit on page 16.
Yep, that'll go up.
Yeah, that'll be nearly the same amount as last year. Once we get that deposited.
Some of that money will be, probably need to get looked at least in fiscal 26, doing a road.
How many miles?
How many miles?
Of road?
You mean
Quarter and
feet?
On our budget, quarter.
It won't do much.
It doesn't.
Didn't Lee Evans cost 80 grand last time? Just for Lee Evans?
Well, I remember that, what, the 50 feet or 75 feet right at the north end was several thousand.
Yeah, it's very expensive road.
Yeah.
But that's for another year. We're not doing, not doing roads this year. All right, was that approval of financial report?
Make a motion. James.
Give it to Sheila with a second by Clinton. All in favor? Nays? All right, annual appropriations. Let me me find. Did we do the minutes? Let's skip the
Bye,
minutes.
Bob.
No,
Hey, Bob.
you did those while you were reprinting the agenda.
Okay, I was on the move, I don't remember. Alright. Things to note on this appropriations are we have all the mayor, trustees, compensations of officers the same. And that will stay the same at least through the next election unless the board votes to increase any of the officer pays. They won't take effect until the next elected board. So I left all those the same. Pretty much left the maintenance stuff the same. I increased the police enforcement from 8,100 to 12,000 to cover for a request for more patrols. I had a conversation after the last meeting with the sheriff, and he said he will post them again, but the opportunity for overtime but he doesn't expect anybody to bite. We did that before, we posted it at their office and nobody wanted it. State police has been unsuccessful. The only nearest officer, so like if we knew anybody local, they live in Plainville, but they're a night shift person. So I asked the county if it would be stepping on anybody's toes, long story short, start bothering the state police
Right.
and keep asking. The only thing that's gonna get more patrols down here is people calling the state police and the county. The county is busy. They barely got enough to keep up with reactive calls, much less come down the hall and watch for traffic. But I have requested it. I told them I was putting more money in appropriations. It's not much money. $4,000 won't get you much. But I've done just about all I can with requests from traffic patrols.
Well,
Well,
and Zach's done, I mean.
He's tapped out with
taken
us. He's doing,
care of a lot of things, though, when he was working pretty consistently, he wrote a lot of tickets and
he all but,
stopped a lot of people.
as far as I'm concerned, stopped the mess coming through the hall in a matter of a couple months.
Yep.
Now, we do have a severe speeding problem, and everybody recognizes that, so I'm upping this to try to keep that offer open to the county.
Right.
And tell them, I could offer Zach more money, but you can get all the money you want, you don't have time.
Right.
I mean, you can't,
Is he still doing so many hours per month?
I believe it's 18.
Yeah. Or per week, or is it,
Per
no, it's a
month.
month.
So, and we're already paying $8,000 out, and now we still got a bad traffic problem, but if we look at what the board did by voting officer help, we've done a lot. We've all but stopped all that traffic. That's very good. But the only thing that's gonna help is me calling them. It's just me calling them. People's gonna have to call. Citizens gonna have to call. The board's gonna have to call. And if they have time,
Right. They'll come over.
so I've all that exhausted my efforts with. I'll keep asking. But, you know, if 50 people call the state police,
They're gonna get tired of hearing from us. So they
well,
might do
it
something.
just gets more word out, but I don't, anyway, increase officer to 12,000. Streets now is I did change, and I am skimming. Petroleum products and repairs, I only assume that, that's based off gas prices. It's gonna continue to increase, so I didn't wanna go under budget on it. Didn't raise it much. Capital purchase of equipment, last year that was 92, that's down to 10. I don't anticipate any more capital purchases of equipment this year, but we, just in case, I mean, we put it in there. Street lighting, I left. Maintenance of municipal building and water is only $800. I left it the same. At some point, these tiles are gonna need and whatever, but not this year. I don't think with the big project coming up, we should do a remodel of City Hall with the project coming up. Repair and demolition unsafe buildings, that was 50,000 the last 2 years. I'm dropping it down to 20 this year because we only have one on the record, or one we're going after right now. And that should not take anywhere near $20,000. In fact, I'm gonna push that we do that one ourselves, so all we're gonna have is dumpster costs. So, I bet I mean, way under 10,000. So, with that, it's not really extra money, but with the difference, and this is what you guys will need to pay attention to when we vote on, I raised the park fund from 7,500 to 75,000. So, we applied for a big grant, right? We didn't get it. We might get it this year. We may never see it. We may never get a park grant. It's something we apply for, we may never see. So, at what point do we start taking baby steps towards the park? This number you see is, I'm sorry I don't have the exact number, but I believe it's $40,000 to $50,000 less than last year. So we're looking to spend less money on other things, but I put it in the park. So things like, do we go ahead and concrete or asphalt the parking lot? Let's just do it. We could wait 10 years on a grant. Let's seal the tennis court.
No, it needs it.
People are asking me for pickleball court. Barry just put one in. It really doesn't.
One Barry seemed pretty good.
It's not really much except a net and some lines on the ground. We'd have to move poles in, but other than that, we got the fence fixed. Let's go ahead and do the next. What gives us fence in the fix? Fixing the fence if we don't go the next step. The next step is this reseal. It's been needed for years. Let's spend some of that. I've got quotes coming in just for the sealing of that. It's basically just driveway seal. To put a tennis court in is nothing that we can avoid.
What about the cracks? Will they
Yeah, fill that.
fill all that?
Yeah, we'll put a filler in. It's not gonna be glass smooth, but we cannot afford to put a tennis surface in if it's like
Oh,
it's that spongy.
Yeah, it'll be better than what it is.
But we can seal it and paint the lines.
Yep.
So I've started on getting quotes for that. The basketball goal has been super hard to do because we can't just like buy stuff without an invoice. So like, and then the Walmart card, we can't use it for online orders. So we're struggling on how to get that stuff. We gotta find a company that will invoice us. And you know, we're a
How are we
minimum.
gonna go about, like, if we eventually buy playground equipment, how would that?
I don't know yet. So that's what we're working. I've been working on the backboard since the windstorm happened, and it's one of the things that's got pushed aside that we need to fix. It was brought to my attention, and it has been in the works. Her and I talked about it a couple weeks ago, about what style we should get, whatever. Anyway, that's why I put the 75 in the park, and I'm open for ideas, but this is appropriations. We can figure that out later. But just things like resealing, concreting the driveway maybe. It's like 150 by 24 or something. We can look at asphalt, we can look at whatever. But, like I said, we may never get the money to do the park. But we might, who knows, time to start spending money. We spent all this money on cleaning up, let's start the next step of doing that. Anyway, are there any questions on the appropriations? I did do one, and we will vote on this in the next agenda. But our treasurer has worked for $700 a year for probably 15 years. So our treasurer has not asked for a raise, and $300 ain't much, but I bumped that up from 700 to 1,000. So we don't. It's not that we need to pay that. I'm going to shoot high in case we do decide to make that raise.
Gotcha.
If we don't give up 1,000, then we just don't. Water testing and treatment. I talked to our water operator, and he does not anticipate any increases in price. So that's what I have for my. This is what I did for the month of June. What say you?
How much does the mayor get a year?
300 down to 12.
4,200 is what's appropriated.
So again, I didn't put anything in there. So, because if this board decides to raise the pay of the board, it won't. None of this board will get it. It's the
It's
next,
the next
unless
board.
well, you will, because you and Roger are the only ones that stay. All the rest of us are up for re-election. So it may be you two sitting here with complete another table. And that Bobby will run from there. That board will get the pay increase. So that would be the next election, and that would be fiscal 26. So that's.
So you have to vote on that by a certain time to
Yeah,
get the raise.
it may even be passed.
So when's the next election? November,
April.
April of 25.
And then
Uh-huh.
you gotta have your petitions in by December or something. When that gets closer to time, that'll be sent out, posted publicly, whatever. But that's the reason I left all this the same. So if that's a discussion the board's gonna have, it needs to be done. I'll have to get the date. It has to be done so many days before the next election.
Right.
And I'd have to look at the state statute. So, anyway, the officers stay the same. Because it wouldn't matter anyway.
Right.
You can't,
Right.
I can appropriate it, but you can't spend it, so.
Yep.
If you were to do that, the motion would be needed to, at a meeting, to put it on the next agenda for a vote. So, is there a motion to approve the ordinance number 2024-7-1, being the annual appropriation ordinance for the Village of Hall, Pike County, Illinois, beginning May 1st, 2024, ending May 30th, 2025, i.e. fiscal 25.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
A motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve, I'm looking for a second. If there's no second, what is the issue with the appropriation?
I'll second it.
So I think they're reading.
Or do you need more time? Just tell me you need more time, I'm cool with that too. I just opted time because
Bob, second.
I'm sorry.
Bobby made a second.
Oh, all in favor? Nays? All right, motion carried.
Listen,
Yes,
just,
sir.
just for clarification,
Yes, sir.
salaries that are fixed by ordinance for those officers who hold elective office for a definite term shall neither be increased nor diminished during that term and shall be fixed at least 180 days before the
Okay.
beginning of the term of the officers whose compensation is to be fixed.
So you have until January, February, I don't know, February. Thank you, sir. Just for, that is $46,000 less than last year that we've appropriated. So we're, doesn't mean you need to spend that much, that's just what we have. So before we let this go, I think I need a witness. No, I do not. But I'm gonna sign it in front of the board, and this will be posted in the window. It's you and you. This will be put on record if anybody wants to see it in the next year. It'll be in the window.
I'm saving her. I'll hand it to them.
Don't lose. I'm giving it to you. All right, picnic donations. We decided to table that. It's already 8 o'clock. We can table it again. We have time. But it is July,
And next month's picnic day.
August, September. Oh, we can't table that.
You can. We did it in August last year.
We could. It would just be reimbursement for something they've already spent. But
What was the, I cannot remember the number we gave last year.
Last year was 1,800.
So do we want to discuss that one or table? If it's table, make a motion to table. If somebody has a number, make a motion to donate a number.
It was 1,800 last year, why we couldn't do it again next year?
I'm in agreement with that.
I make a motion to donate $1,800 to the whole business.
Is there a
Second.
Sheila, second. All in favor? Nays?
And that really ain't a whole lot, but it's something.
It helps, that's for sure.
All right, update on Picture Flat. Was there any update on the one picture one?
445 South Locust, I meant to check on that before I left the office to see where we're at on serving the summonses on that.
I believe that was pretty much ready to go to court.
Yeah, it's all been filed and we're just waiting to get the confirmation that summons has been served and then we
So-
can move forward.
That could happen.
Pretty quick.
Should be pretty quick.
Yeah, and then I mean, I start pulling triggers on all kinds of stuff.
What's the
There's a
address
whole list of 455 South Locust, right? 445.
You
Yeah.
probably need to put a big bug bomb in it.
Yeah, that'll have to be there. The
Yeah.
infestation is so bad. I will be contacting. I can't do it. I guess I could. I don't know when it's going to be yet, so I have to
We
contact
don't
them.
want them touching that thing until
No.
they get it
So-
sprayed.
So when I get the word,
Yep.
I'll have, and that's gonna be extra money, but that's gonna be something we're gonna have to spend.
Yes.
Where's this at?
I'm sorry,
Where's this at?
Everybody else. would
right
be-
behind your house.
Oh,
Right
yes,
behind your
yeah.
house.
Spray that son of a gun before we touch it.
It is
I know.
extremely bad.
It's like put a moat around it.
Oh, man.
So just,
Oh, it's horrible.
when I propose a bill for a few $1,000s for, that's what's,
We don't care.
that's gonna be half part of it, so. But when I get that date, all these things start to happen. We're at that thing, you know, the inspections, and that doesn't concern you guys. I do all that. Update on Water River projects. He said next week.
You said it last time?
He said 2 weeks last time and 2 weeks the time before that. So, he's going like this, and at some point he's gonna meet up and we'll have the right date. But no, I don't have, no word on the railroad. it's kind of been on the way they've played the game with threatening to shut railroad crossings down.
Right.
And we told them no, and they said, well, we'll make you spend this much on crossings, and then we said no again, and then they offered us money, and we said no again. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen,
Right.
but it's in the works. No work, no radio silence from the railroad. So, but Victor Flat said we're gonna sit down next week.
Okey-doke.
I don't know. I will probably contact you guys if there's anything to tell.
Yep.
When that happens, when that report comes in, I'll be pulling in and having meetings with our water operator and get his opinion on it. I can't, unless we call a special meeting, I don't see the need of calling everybody in if I don't know what the report is yet. It can probably just wait till the next meeting. But I'll be meeting with him. Visitors' comments. Kim, what you got?
Oh, yeah, real quick. I wanted to say that, Lee's Park, the playground area looks nice. Y'all did a good job, whoever did it. I would be available to do some of that volunteer work if ever.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
all.
Appreciate it.
Thank y'all.
I would like to power wash that soon. I have a power washer, electric. That's
Yeah.
what we used last time.
Where's it at?
Lease Park.
Yeah?
You'd be surprised how much better that equipment looks when you power wash it. It's been 2
The
years.
playground equipment.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking, okay?
We did it 2 years ago, and
Yeah,
it's time to do it again.
I remember that.
But I can get with you if you want to
Yeah.
help. It's
That wasn't last time.
we did. We had some school kids do some.
2 years ago.
Last summer was a-
It's been 2 years.
Are you asking me to volunteer to do that power washing? 'Cause
I'm-
I'll do it.
I'm just saying I'll give you a holler when we do it, and if
Okay,
you're willing.
I mean, I've got equipment.
We power washers. I'll bet all it takes. Community service. We used some community service hours to clean that last time,
Yeah,
and then Deb and I went down and some soap and a power washer. It looks anyway.
well, even that looked nice.
so they're all-
The equipment still, today looks better than it did last meeting because of that wood.
Yep.
It just really made it look a lot nicer.
Yep. So thank you for that, Stephen.
No comment.
Thank you. Again, you're part of the, when I know, you'll know.
All right,
As far as, don't have any.
thank you.
Code hearing report. Let's start with the current. The hotel grass is, right now is 37 inches tall,
Where?
the hotel.
Okay, I cannot find my pictures. The judge saw the pictures, and I think what happened, since it was what I thought was done and over with, I deleted them.
Okay. So
Do
where
your
we're at,
photos upload anywhere? Mine upload to a backup.
where we're at with,
I don't know,
let's cover code hearing report. Is there any new business? So
you know.
the current grass at the hotel is currently 37 inches tall. So that's a new fine. I don't know what we got to do to get this guy to mow his grass.
I need the correct address then.
So yes, the county assessor's office is still wrong. I checked it today. We can get that address, and I have the attorney's address, but we're sending it to the owner when I get it. The address, we can get it from the attorney, but as far as I'm concerned, that's a new fine. I mean, it's this tall.
Then we gotta give them a warning first or something.
You have to do
He's-
them.
Sheila, given that the owner of the property has lawyered up, I will be happy to work with you on the required notices and complaints. That issue was brought up when the attorney first got involved, and I would not say conclusively that we're using the wrong address.
So,
It was signed for and open,
however,
But
That's
going,
next on
but
the
going
agenda.
forward,
right,
we will cross our Ts and dot our Is,
right,
because, you know, at this point, technicalities are going to be noted,
right.
but that's no reason not to move vigorously to enforce the local ordinances if there's evidence that nuisance abatement issues have
it's
arisen.
it's a new issue.
Yes.
So where we're at, we'll cover the status of the fines it's on the agenda to cover second. Anything else for new code hearing? So we'll send out a warning to that address.
To what address?
Well, now he's got a post office box there, so I don't know.
I said send them to them all. Anything we can find, send them
So
everywhere.
posting on the property,
Right,
and I don't want you on the property. We will call the officer, and he will do it.
will he take a picture for us?
Yes, he will.
Okay,
I want the officer, in addition to getting the address, I want it sent to the attorney. I want it posted. So via Judge Roseberry, posting is a satisfactory delivery.
right,
Posting on the property.
right,
Now, we did send, the county assessor's office has the wrong address, and that's what we use to mail things.
Well,
So,
once again, when you say they have the wrong address,
according to the attorney and his client.
right, I would be very hesitant right now to conclude that they are correct on that issue. Because I reviewed it with opposing counsel and,
That's why I've got a new post office box.
well, I just,
also, they contacted us about the font, so,
I think there is sufficient fault on the other side to not conclude at this point that there's somehow previous actions of the village have been ineffective. And for purposes of this discussion, going forward, the new violations, if they exist, let's talk
Okay.
about what we're doing before we send them out. Because I would like to stay abreast of this issue.
Sure.
okay. So what I have on the agenda is to vote on the status of the old hotel fines. What your opinion is to, move forward with, they've asked to go to trial, so we move forward with the trial? Or do we,
It's not just, technically, it's not a trial, okay? What has been placed before the administrative body, and keep in mind that this is not one of the constitutional courts of the state of Illinois.
right,
This is a local administrative body. You're very fortunate to have a retired judge as the presiding officer of that body. And he will certainly, I think, take note, and I don't think there's any doubt that what is before the body on the August date will be whether or not, it'll be simply whether or not there was effective notice. And that's it. If the motion is, if the motion to vacate the fines is granted on the basis of the notice issue, then I think before, I think the only thing that can be determined then on that date would be whether or not if the notice was ineffective, that the village be given leave to refile with proper notice. And that may result in the vacation of the fines to date that have accrued, but then we just go back to the original issue, which was a finding that not only the municipal statute had been violated, but there may be other violations that wouldn't be our authority to pursue in terms of environmental protection agency violations, that type of administrative. That would be not our business, but our local ordinance we would be going back to the beginning, and we don't have to necessarily visit that issue now, but it would certainly be proper, and I believe it's on the agenda, if the board wants to just wipe the slate clean and go forward from this point with any new violations that have occurred, or had occurred at the time. So, I hope that clarifies things a little bit.
Yep, so we could wipe this over and reissue tickets for the same fire. We
Or not, or you
or
could
not,
just say not.
Right.
we could, move forward with it. If we're gonna do this, we need to stick to our guns as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
In which case, if we are found in default, then the thing is that we're gonna reissue the ticket anyway. So,
The same 3 that I sent originally.
they're still there. I mean,
Yeah.
the fire violation was a fire violation, the
Right.
municipal, county, and state ordinance, and the rest of it still hasn't cleaned up, and
Yeah.
the current 3-foot grass in the backyard.
The judge would not be making a decision on the merits of the violations, just whether or not, if there was improper notice, then the fines would have to be vacated, and we would go back and make a determination as to whether or not we want to go forward on the original charges, and any new charges that may have arisen on the property can also be pursued by the same administrative process.
So yeah, the options is move forward with the chance of maybe, for lack of a better word, losing, or just start over and issue new tickets, making 1,000% sure that
I think there's a good argument that notice was adequate. I really do.
okay, then it's his opinion, we move forward.
No, that's up to you. That's up to you. That's up to the board.
It's one of these things we gotta stick our guns. We're doing this stuff, we're doing it.
Oh, yeah. Say move.
All right, I have on to vote on status of hotel funds. I'm gonna ask for a motion to, keep the fines in place. I have to ask for the motion, someone has to make the motion, I can't make the
I
motion.
make the motion that we keep the fines in place for the said property on 106, AKA the hotel.
Yeah, and it still does not physically have a 911 address.
Yeah.
All right, is there a second to that?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Nays? All right, board member comments. Roger?
No, sir, nothing. Not a thing.
How about the water leak up here? Has that been repaired?
So we found that leak. We don't have just spare fire hydrants laying around, so it's coming.
So the leak's on a fire hydrant.
It's the fire hydrant valve. Those valves are deep underground, so that they're what do you call it? Water. When you shut them off, they drain down. I don't know what they're called.
And where's that?
At the corner of
It's a
Elm and
relief
Main.
valve.
I'm sorry.
A relief valve.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
So it's.
So,
we split the
I mean,
part.
we've got a part coming to get it fixed.
Yep.
How about some potholes? I know 2 board meetings ago, I said something about potholes on Cherry Street. No, I still see them. And then
Is
the
Cherry
ones,
Street, your street?
yep, that's the one that somebody had asked me to talk about.
Okay.
But there's others throughout the town.
So what we do for streets is, kinda just basically throwing some crappy cold patch. When it comes time to do a street,
I'm not,
Study.
I don't wanna redo the whole street, I just wanna get the
I get it.
potholes fixed.
Okay, I'm just saying when it comes time to do a whole street, there's engineers involved, they have to do a study, it's complicated, so, but we can certainly, what side, east or west, Cherry, are we
West.
talking, on your section?
Yeah,
What
in front
about,
of Kareem's and Lundberg's and
Down in front of ours,
down
all
in
the
front
way
of
down
our,
through
all the
there.
way through that
All the way
little
through
block.
there.
Claire, I'll get with you, is Wednesday good to look at places for cold patch?
And I do believe it's warm enough now.
Yeah, it should be, it's, plenty warm.
And then, you know, I mean, I think there's another issue here we ought to address, and, you know, at one point, a comment was made that we could fall asleep while we're driving.
Now, be very careful. what
I
you
am
do.
very, I'm
No,
being very
that's
careful.
not a warning, personal warning, that's a legal warning.
It's already been addressed one time.
No, that's. Chris, I need your help on how to make sure this is navigated properly.
Well,
I don't
there's
quite sure what it is, cause I don't know yet.
I think there's an item on the agenda tonight to discuss personnel matters, is there not?
Yes,
There you
Is
go.
this,
We'll-
that's it, I put it on the ball.
I recommend that if you're going to discuss, the issue of the, hiring, firing, or, treatment of an employee of the village, that in order to protect the property rights of the employee, that those issues be discussed in executive session.
So isn't that what we did last week?
Well, last month, it wasn't
Last
on the
month,
agenda,
last
so
month.
no action could be taken.
So, but action could be taken this time with a closed session.
No, it's not on the agenda. You have to make a motion to put it on the agenda for next time, is that
I
right?
thought that's what you did, I thought that's what
Yeah,
happened
I thought
last
that's
time.
what happened last
I
time.
put option to enter closed session to discuss village personnel.
Oh, well,
So I don't know what the,
I know,
I don't know what the accusation is even, so, until,
Well, we know from the closed session last time.
alright, let's move forward with
Look,
the comments, we'll just have to go in closed
you
session.
can still go into executive session and discuss it and take action at another meeting, if that's an issue, but that's for the Board of Trustees to decide. And the only motion that needs to be made, because this is on the agenda, is that the executive session be convened to discuss the hiring or firing or employment of a specific individual. That individual should not be named in any such motion.
Okay, continue with comments.
I don't have anything, I've said enough tonight.
Chelsea?
Just that rebuild Illinois money, have we,
Yep, we got the, trying to log in, is it the SAM thing? What did I say that was?
That's what you said I needed to review,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
After you
needs,
set a password.
it now needs reset, because it's an annual thing,
mm-hmm,
and then that's just one part of it. I did get an invoice from the company that many towns are using to basically do all of it for you. It's $3,000. So, if we screw it up, they take all that money back. Or, you're the company that does it, and you pay them $3,000 and nothing happens. They take care of all the official paperwork. I'm not an accountant. I'm gonna keep trying, but I don't know what a lot of that stuff means. Her and I can work on it. It's gonna take a lot of time, and I can't guarantee that I'll be successful.
How
However,
much did we get from them? Was it 30 or,
no, it's more than
50?
that. It's $59,000 or something
I
like
mean, 3,000 of that?
that. To say that it's done
To
and
know
it's
that
not
it's
gonna
done
happen.
100%.
So like they
Right.
what, do the paperwork or tell us what we can
They
use
need
it
our-
for, or?
No, they take care of the filing for what we used it for. They take care of it, basically
You
everything.
just tell them what you did
Because
and they fill out the paperwork.
There's so many towns in Illinois that can't figure this out and are not in danger, but they've had warnings now that they have, and we haven't claimed. They should have never just put the money in people's accounts and then
There you go.
tell them to figure out how to
Right.
keep it.
Well, the thing of it is, if it's only gonna cost $3,000 for someone to take care of it, and knowingly that we are not gonna have to pay it back.
That's the thing,
Because
I didn't wanna spend the 3,000, so I've been trying to figure it out. Now I figure out this week, on top of everything else we got trying to do, that now our Sam's thing's expired. We gotta, and that's just one
So
of the
do we put
ideas.
that on the
So-
agenda and vote on it at a meeting?
I'd like to, we're at the
I just
point
don't
now
wanna
that,
lose that money.
Right.
When
No,
we
I
can-
mean,
I mean, that'll
we
pay
better
for
pay
over half of the
$3,000,
end of the
that's what
year.
I suggest.
Yeah.
Okay, so can we
Um,
put that on the agenda for the
of
next
course.
meeting?
Yes,
Okay, that's my
I should do that.
only thing.
I can give that information to whoever wants it. The contact came through the county clerk, after being contacted that we were one of the counties that, there, or towns, there's a couple hundred, I think, on that list. I could give you the whole list of even the people that have claimed it, but, what did I rate motor fuel? It's not right. I'll think of it in a minute. Is that,
Yep.
Just some of mine has already been addressed, so.
okay. All right, I need an option, this is only the second time we've done this, Chris, is to make a motion to close the regular meeting and go into closed session to discuss village personnel. Is that satisfactory?
It's strictly speaking to discuss the employment of a specific employee. I think the village probably only has one employee, so,
We got
but,
one, we got two.
okay, well, then, you
Counting
can
the
only,
treasurer.
you can only discuss one employee at a time. So the motion should be for an executive session to discuss the employment of a specific employee. And you do not name the employee in the motion.
All right, did anybody hear that enough to repeat it?
We
Go ahead and give it a shot.
We need to
Close
close
this
this
meeting.
You need to
session.
make a motion,
I make a motion to close the
regular meeting.
regular meeting.
Well, the closed session is part of our meeting, right? We just make a motion
It's-
to go into closed session, cause then last time we
Correct.
had to make a motion to end
Yes.
closed session and then end the meeting.
The closed session occurs and upon motion, then the clerk reads off the roll for those present for the closed session. When the closed session is adjourned, then a motion has to be made to go back into open session, and then motion can be made to adjourn the meeting. That's how you do it.
Okay.
Trust me.
All right, whoever's making the motion, begin.
I make a motion that we go into closed session
To discuss,
to discuss a specific village of whole employee.
that's fine. I need a second.
I second.
All in favor? Nays? All right, we're entering closed session. So,
Yes.
we'll end this.
Only the members of the council, of the board of trustees should remain.